No, it's hard to say. It will be. Give them all. So, yeah, we used to, as you know, your partner was the woman the well, Mark. We have no reason to believe she was or she wasn't. I'm saying the calling of Yeshua is a one-on-one, him and you call. It's part of the great collective, but it all fits in the great kingdom expansion plan. And it's going to be unique for you. The question is, what do you want? What do you want? I know we've got such a, and I say these things and like, I don't want to be critical. I'm just saying it's so big, such a great thing here that just focusing on the forgiveness of sin is almost heretical. It's a real thing. It's important. It's critical, but it's not the big thing. The big thing is the kingdom. Say, and we've changed the gospel of the kingdom, is what you should have taught, to the gospel of forgiveness. It's a different gospel. It's a fragment of a spun off. Say we're talking about what we're really talking about is forgiveness of sin. That's one element of a greater plan. And it's essential. So I'm not begrudging people who talk about forgiveness of sins. Let them talk about it. Just understand that's not the end of it. That's only the beginning point of it. So, in other words, we do have a responsibility. We do have a covenant. Commitment, covenant condition goes with our salvation. It's not to earn salvation by works, as people want to talk about that doctrine. It's to understand that we now have the honor of serving the Creator of the universe and serving His world and serving the people in it. And that is the biggest honor. So we have an obligation. Sorry if we're going to receive much. Those who receive much. Love. Give it much. They love it. That's the call. So, filling out the vignettes. You can think about any other vignettes? Any of these other stories that tell about a wicked story? What about, what's your favorite story about Yeshua's encounter with people? Anybody have a favorite story? Woman at the well? Yeah. One story. And yet, we don't know all the details. We know the first immediate impact of the whole nation, the men of Samaria, come out to the well. And then they include people who were not thought to be part of the kingdom. Other flock. This takes place. We don't know all the ins and outs of how it all wants to go ahead. I don't have it. Some things are just secret between private between God and people. So the well, that's his favorite thing there.
Because he dealt with a mental issue, not physical, because she's physically fine. It's just her mind. And see, my family has dealt with that a lot.
You can understand this. This is personal for you because you see it. And here's the key. All these vignettes, they're supposed to be, they're designed so that you can say, that was me. That's where I come in. You may not be able to associate your mind with Nicodemus. You may not be able to think of yourself as being like the rich young ruler. But are you very happy? Are you the woman of the well? Are you Peter and James out there cursing in the fish in the boat because the fish aren't biting? Yeah, there's not enough money in the bill.
For taxes.
What about Lazarus?
Some of us had near-death experiences.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Somewhere in this whole situation, the reason all these stories are told and put in the gospel is because one of them is you. One of them's going to be your kid, your grandchild. One's going to be your spouse. One of them is going to fit. And he gives all these stories from all these different perspectives. This is the goodness of God that he says, I'm not going to tie it down to one thing and say, you've got to fit in this one category, in this box, or else it doesn't work. He's got a plan that will touch every one of us wherever we are. Isn't that good? All right, so other thoughts?
Loads of efficiency. Loads of efficiency.
One more. I mean, you can talk about the people you fed.
Yeah.
But I always think about that. Do you think about this? This is a kid. I mean, he had, my dad gave me $1 to go to the ball game, but I had to buy my hot dog and Coke, or else take it back and keep it, not eat a hot dog and a Coke, but keep it in my pocket so I had some money to spend at the store.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't give it to say, oh, well, I'll just blow it. No, this is important to me. You know, it's local fishes. It's like, you know, this was important to him. Which, oh, I got this is important to him. This meant something. This is what he had. This is. And that's the one thing he shows me. You know, it's just the kid. We had come with the 3,000, the 5,000, 4,000, 5,000, got that fit. And if you're eating this stuff, I mean, can you imagine holding your hand? Where did this come from? How did this bread? How did it, for 5,000 of us here, I think we're all eating the same bread, and without want to taste this American bread. What's the flavor? What leaven is in this bread? I want to taste this thing, and I want to sniff it. I want to smell it. I want to taste it. I want to savor it in my mouth, on my taste buds. I want to know what it feels like to eat America. Wow. And I wonder if they ever tasted a fish like that. Fried fish. After the Yeshua lays his hands on the fish and divides them up, separates them out, and hands them out, what does it taste like then?
It's the wine.
If the wine gets so much better, how much does the fish taste?
Oh my gosh. It was good stuff.
Wow.
Best bread ever.
Yes, really. Yes, it is.
Best fish ever.
Man, that's wine.
Oh my
He's got the best thing on the best thing on the book. So what about the 5,000 that we did, 4,000, 5,000? What about them who ate and smelled and tasted, savored, and said, wow, what happened to their life? What was their life about that?
I think you answered my question that I've been talking about Ezekiel, about the watching on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And if you don't tell the people, the blood will be on your hands.
Yeah.
And then it's got other scriptures in the Bible. There's a time to be quiet, not say anything. And I'm like, God, I gotta tell everybody the truth. I gotta be watching me on the wall. But you just answered my question. Not everybody's designed to be the watchman on the wall.
And at every given moment, to be that one shout that's so far. We got to resonate with his plan, with his will, with his voice, with his sound. Do what he's doing, not do what we're doing. Don't doctrinalize it. Don't dogmatize it. It is what it is whenever God believes it. It's heaven touching earth. So it's going to have this wave and these replications, these frequencies going out, and we're supposed to replicate them and flow in that energy as opposed to doing doctrinal stuff. Okay, so we've talked about some of these vignettes. And building out the kingdom. Now, what's the goal? How is this supposed to change the world? How does it change?
Because the world speaks with judgment and wants to add to the darkness. And this is different. You're not leaving Peter after the cock crows the third time. You're seeing the progression and the building and the forgiveness and the restoration in one life, and that it's coming. The kingdom is coming in fullness, and he doesn't leave anybody where they were.
We talked here. Well, I'm hearing what you say. Say long. I'm hearing that say this is the offset principle. The darkness is here. We got plenty of darkness in the world, and most people just reiterate the darkness just and reinforce the darkness. We complain, right? We judge, we criticize. We do the negative stuff like the world teaches us to do. But the kingdom comes and the atmosphere shifts. And instead of complaining, rightly judging, criticizing, we begin to release hope and light. We get to see things with the standpoint of what can I do to serve, not what can I do to make these things be the way I want them to be, without being God. We begin to change the entire purpose. So the kingdom is the opposite. I'm saying all along, we have two realms. In the heavenly realm, it's called Hashemayim for a reason. Shemayim, the main root verb is Shema. The root word is Shema. The Hashemayim, the heavens, as we call. Because why are they called Shemayim? Because they Shema. The planets and the solar system and the galaxies go exactly where it's said to go. And they do so every single moment of every single day for every single generation, as long as there's been them present on earth. They Shema. They only Shema. They don't blow Shema. They only blow Shema with the angels, the 1/3 of the angels, and they were cast down to the earth, because that's where you don't Shema. The earth is the place of low Shema. The earth is come since the 43 the law of the angels in Genesis. The earth is full of low Shema, no listening, no paying attention, no heeding, no following the instructions of the Holy One. This is what the growing is. So how does he keep this from killing it, destroying itself? Everybody's doing their own thing. And they clash and they collide. Nations collide. Wars and rumors of wars. Pestilences and famines and climate change and all sorts of stuff collapsing around. Governmental policy. We got arresting leaders from Venezuela. We're doing all this stuff. This is the world. This is the radiation stuff. But there's another answer to this besides the flood. The answer to this besides the flood is to flood the world with the light. To give them an account about it. Give light, hope in the world. That's what the kingdom is all about. The more kingdom, the more light. The more light, the more offset. And that allows balance to take place. And the evil does not overrun, destroy it. So, guess what the kingdom is supposed to do? The kingdom is supposed to be a catalyst. That was the whole Abrahamic plan. The plan of Abraham is not just that you're going to get blessed, but you will. You get blessed for a reason. So that you can be a blessing. And so that you will be the dividing line between the evil and the good, between the blessing and the cursing, and you will be a blessing to every family on the face of what household, every household faith, and the face of the earth. This is how we do what the Holy One said to do. This is the covenant plan. That's what Yeshua came to do, is fulfill the covenant plan in a greater sense than never been present on the earth before, even on the days of Abraham. So, we have this kingdom builder. Are we there? Or are we just in religion? You know, what are we into? What do we want? What are we going to eat? You know, we're programmed largely by a forgiveness gospel and a prosperity gospel. And a agent of faith gospel. Those three basic gospels that are going around the world. Forgiveness gospel is all it's about. I got to get into my sins. I got guilt. I got shame. I got to get released in my. It's all personal, all selfish. I feel guilt. I feel shame. I get released from my guilt and shame. Look, I want that to happen for all of you, but that's not what that's not the end of it. The other gospel is prosperity gospel. If I do this right, I'll get money. I'll get housing, car, and I'll get paid for men, and I'll be liked at my job, and I'll be considered to be brilliant and intelligent, and everybody will like me, and everybody say nice things about me. The prosperity gospel. I'll never get sick. If I do get sick, I'll just say, go away, be banished in the name of you. I don't have to worry about any of that sick. I'll probably never die. That's how that worked. You know, I remember when I was in the kingdom, and I think the Lord was sure how to contact. I read it. I read the book of John. He who believes in me shall not perish, but have everlasting life. I believe in it. Don't think, look out, never die. Hello? Now, I don't know how to get across 3 gospel and understand this doesn't work that way. That's not the way this thing works. You will die. Even Lazarus died of me.
Yeah.
Giants and stars. I mean, all you get from the resuscitation there for a little while. Another shot at the whole apple. That's the best you can get. So this idea of it's all about me and what I want and me getting what my way and getting what I think I need. That's not what the gospel is, but that's the prosperity gospel. Then there's the agent of faith. Whatever I say has to happen. Whatever I decree, whatever I declare, it doesn't have to be in tune with God. I can say to this table, turn yourself upside down. Just because I want to. And it has to do it. You see how it is. That's not the plan. These are not part of it. The only ones that actually got a part to it is the forgiveness stuff. At least it has a part there. We do need to get forgiveness stuff.
I'm starting to think that sometimes our beliefs and doctrines are our biggest thing that keeps us stuck not doing anything for the kingdom.
You know, one of the things that it's been said many times by many people is that Yeshua is about a relationship, not a religion.
Yeah.
And you know that's true. Every single day of it. We think, no, he's really about religion, not a religion. If we do the religious stuff, we'll get what we want. So yeah, it gets to the question, what you said at the beginning, it's really real. The forms of religion are the biggest challenge we have. Because we think we can control things by virtue of that, as opposed to responding to the will of God in a given situation that requires deep intimate relationship. And our equivalent of leaving all and following him and hanging around him and watching how he does stuff. Watching how he interacts with people. That's why we give these stories in the Gospels, these vignettes that we talk. And each one is different because each one of us psychology is different, and each one of us is designed to be able to function different, but all of it based upon one thing. Not the religious institution, not the doctrine of the Bible. It's based upon our relationship with Yeshua. Our interaction with him and receiving the broadcast he's transmitting. And if we ever take away the broadcast tower, it's going to be hard as the dickens to get that signal. We can make up our own signal. We can come up with our own forms of religion and our own doctrines and dogmas and all sorts of stuff like that. Statements of this and statements of that. But we will not be connected to the actual source if we not come back. This is the key of building out the kingdom. And as Deb pointed out, one of the major obstacles is not the government. One of the major obstacles is not the political system. One of the major obstacles is not fighting for religion and ethnicity and all that. One of the major obstacles is we're so attuned to the pseudo intellectual stuff we call religion that we can't get over it. Don't think why I'm here. We can't get over it. We can't get beyond it. We get locked into it, and that's why I have this way of making shift on these terms. Because the terms awaken the religious thing in us. And some of them are actually the English Bible. It's like it says, believe on. The English Bible says, those you should believe on. Believe in him, believe on him. On him would be a more accurate way of, if you're going to get pointed to, you believe on. Because it's not even believing in him. Believing in him teaches you nothing. You're not absolutely stupid. He exists, he really is real, and the issue is believing on him, putting all your trust in him, on him, laying your life upon his, This is more than just your intellectual, but our minds tell us we believe. That's not good. One of my best friends, before I met the Lord, we were drunk together and drink drug tickets together. And so we finally, he gets a job at a resort, and he gets me on. So I go to work at this resort with him, washing dishes, but we're doing something. And we have a few days off every once in a while, or a few hours off. And so a few hours off, we go driving through the countryside just to get our minds free from the mess. So we're driving around, and I'm talking about the Lord, about what happened in my life. And he's a good Methodist. A good Methodist drug taker. A good Methodist heavy drinker and drunk. A good Methodist, well, I'm not going to you can put them in the blanks if you think he was doing with his life. But he was a good Methodist. He showed up at the Methodist church every single Sunday morning. And took the meeting. And you have to bow and get on your knees. And that's just anyway. You have to get on your knees and take them. You have to wait till they put it in your mouth. And he said that. And I said, do you understand what happens to me? Why I'm doing what I'm doing now? Why I'm not doing the stuff I used to do? You know what it required? What made that the difference? He said, well, I guess you just believe. And I didn't really have why do you say that? I believe before. You believe now. You believe right now. You go and you sit in front of that altar, the barrier, and the Methodist pastor comes and puts this thing in your mouth, and you do that because you believe. But what difference does it make? How does it change? It's not about you believing in the truth of the Son. It's about you letting him be everything about your life.